just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
All right, welcome back everyone to RR After Dark, the official podcast of the iRacing League Racing Revolution. This podcast is made possible by our wonderful sponsors, Chapman Environmental Services, Ultimate Siding and Gutters, Butt Kicker, and our wonderful broadcast crew, Simtrax Broadcasting. I'm your host and driver of the number 14 Slurp Sodas Ford Mustang, Michael Bennett. And as always, alongside me are my co-hosts, Justice Murphy, driving the number 12 All About Bugs Chevy Camaro. Nicholas Alves, driver of the number 24 Coastal Financial Chevy Camaro. Robert Rader, driver of the number 53 Chapman Environmental Services Ford Mustang. And then we've got our special guest today. We'll get to him in just a second. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Caleb, our guest. Going to bring him in. He's going to talk about a couple things, road course stuff, a little Call of Duty, and how he shit on one of our other admins. That's going to be my personal favorite part of this podcast. We're going to recap Bristol Dirt, how it went, everywhere from where we messed up to the mentality of drivers going from asphalt to dirt. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Talladega. So without further ado, our special guest, Caleb Gilbert, the driver of the number 54 Chapman Environmental Services Ford Mustang. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we're hanging in here. Glad to be a part of the show. So it's an honor and a pleasure.
Dude, it's great to have you, man. Well, I'll let you get right into it, dude. Talk about, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your points.
All right. Like you said, driver of the number 54, Chapman Environmental, the best sponsor on earth. That's why there's 4 of them out there. Incredible work by Chapman. Joined the league halfway through season 1. Oddly enough, I was looking for a league. Joined one. The league was not very good. And I happened to see a Reddit post on the iRacing subreddit, I think. And somebody invited me in through there. Ran that first Charlotte race. Clean racing. Everybody's pretty cool. So it's been smooth sailing from there. Pretty awesome. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, dude. It's good to have you in here. I know always when I go up against you in any time, any race, I know I've got my work cut out for me for sure.
Yeah, I piggyback off of that. Yeah,
Are you sure it was a Reddit post that you joined the league? Because I kept bragging to everybody. I was the one that brought you on.
I'm pretty sure. It was like a quick, like, working from home, scrolling through, reading stuff, and somebody invited me on there, I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
So, yeah,
I guess what Nick's saying is he doesn't like Reddit or have Reddit.
I do not use Reddit.
I think it was Rob or Kevin, because I went back and watched
It was probably me. 'Cause I think
Rob
I
sounds
put,
like the Reddit guy.
Yeah, well, only 8 hours a day. First of all, never more. Yeah, I put
That's
one
what they
up at
recommend.
one point. Yeah, I don't remember you coming from that, but whatever, we'll take it.
I remember Caleb's first race at Charlotte. He started in the back. He was really fast. Got to the front, blinked out, and disconnected.
Yeah, Grant went at the same time that race. I was so sad. And I don't know what happened there, but I know Rob finished like 20 seconds ahead, and I was in the same strategy as him. So that hurt.
Yeah,
wanted
I
to come
think
in and
that
win,
still
like,
was
oh,
the largest margin of victory. It's close.
Yeah,
My
it was.
proudest record, 25 seconds or something like that.
yeah.
Not that I'm
Mickey
bragging.
Mouse. If I had
Now-
gone out, maybe it might have been a little Mickey Mouse. We'll say that.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about like records though, especially that are still standing from season 1. I mean, I know when we brought you in, Caleb, we knew you were good at the ovals. What we didn't know is just how talented you were at road courses.
Okay. And this is where I have a bone to pick with Mr. Nick Alves. In the last podcast, he mentioned, and it was a 33X that I had at Watkins Glen. I ran off course a couple times and won, and then that last left-hander. And then eventually I bend it and won, and I was like, all right, let's go to the garage. I'm sick of this. I hate road courses. But the last podcast, Nick mentioned a number that is nowhere close to 33. He said like 85. So, with revisionist history, I guess is what you want to call it, I'm expecting about a year from now, Nick's going to mention it's going to be like 263 X's I had or something like that.
I
Oh,
remember
man.
the number being very high from the way you kept talking really badly
No,
about yourself at
because-
Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I
See,
overdo it sometimes.
I thought it was 33 on an oval by
Mm-mm.
someone else, and then
Oh,
it
God.
was like more than 33 there. But
Yeah, so
legend grows with time, they say. So
I'm going to tell you what, 33 or 82, I don't care. Both are impressive at the Glen when you only have 7 corners. And most of them, if you go off, you're hitting a wall and you're screwed anyway.
one
So,
got a really tight. Only one in that last left-hander is the only ones that are like strict on it. So I think I
Yeah.
went over every single time in both those corners, and then eventually canned it.
To be quite honest, even if the record was 82 after Watkins Glen, I will be the first to admit that I surpassed that at Coda. I had 160
Oh yeah,
at
Easy
Coda,
on the
but
course
you
there.
just got to abuse it there a little bit. The F1 track limits don't really agree with me there.
Some of us followed the rules and we finished in 10th. You know, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
for what it's worth, Justice didn't follow the rules and still lost the race. So I
That's
guess it's
very
not
It's a good.
exactly.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Nah,
It's not a
good point.
surefire strategy.
It worked for Trevor, right? When he won season 1, right? He abused the shit out of it
Season
too.
2, Coda.
Season 2, sorry. Season 2,
Yeah.
Coda.
Yeah.
Because I want to say he didn't have 160, but
No,
he
he
was
only
up
had
there.
like 40 something. I mean, which is pretty impressive in 30 laps.
Yeah, so
at
that
Coda.
doesn't help me. That doesn't prove my point at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, bringing
Alright.
up Trevor, the poor guy can't really defend himself. So Caleb, let's talk about Call of Duty and you kicking Trevor's ass.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Trevor. I mean, it's a good day to be Trevor. For the last couple months, I can say, yeah, I know a guy in a racing league I run. Absolutely curb stomped him. Relentless. It was like 40 to 15. Guy couldn't hold anything. So good news for you, Trevor. You're no longer the most slandered man about Call of Duty. I played one of my buddies who I give him a hard time, and he decided he was going to take me to the 1v1 pit, and he put up a similar number to you. Third game comes around, and I was a little locked in. You should be glad we didn't play a third game because it probably would have happened to you too, Trevor. But I dropped a nuke. I have a screenshot of the scoreboard. It was 41 kills to 7, and of course a nuke ends the game. So Trevor, congratulations. You are the second worst Call of Duty player that I know.
First worst in RR.
First, yeah,
First
that's not
worst.
that's not gonna change. It's not gonna change.
That takes a load off, huh?
Just a little bit.
So you can win in Call of Duty. Do we need to let old Patrick, the broadcaster, know that you also can win here? I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh. So Patrick, I love Patrick. They do such a great job in the booth. But it was after the Las Vegas race. And every time I've won, Patrick's like, wow, I really didn't see that one coming. Where'd you find the speed? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm only like third in points the whole year, second this year.
Don't you have the highest I rating in the
Yeah,
league?
I do.
Yeah.
That just comes from not wrecking in officials, really, and having competent speed. I mean, I grinded out officials when I started, so that's how that happened. But it always cracks me up, and I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. With a little bit of short notice. But I got this quote from him the last time I won. He says, from the outside looking in, not saying you can't win a race, you just stay quiet and hang out in the pack. And then went on a little tangent. This reminds me of Kentucky, where I didn't count you out at Kentucky, but somehow you had the speed. I went, thanks, Patrick. That means a lot, man.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about Kentucky.
Ah,
That
Yeah.
racetrack doesn't exist. Actually, it's a fake, not even a real racetrack.
I was
think.
so quick at Kentucky, and I think same driver that may come up later on
Ooh.
caused me an issue there.
yeah,
Which
so-
one? Which one that may come up later on?
I think
got
we
a list.
can figure that out later on.
Hold on, let me pull this. We'll get to
yeah,
it in a few.
there was a long list of ones to get to in a few.
All right. Well, do we want to go over what we just experienced before we get there? Let's talk about with as amazing as I think this group of guys is, and knowledge wise, that they actually know something about what's going on. Let's talk about how while I wasn't here, you guys went 0 for 5 on all your picks. Nobody was here to carry the weight. Justice or Nick, you want to start that?
Yeah, so I actually received a message this morning from Mr. Jeremy Burns. It was a screenshot from his mother, telling she was basically told Burns, "Great job, you were consistent all night. Take that, Nick." Because I actually picked Jeremy not to make the feature, and lo and behold, he made the feature. I believe other picks were Rob, Caleb, who I don't know if you knew you were picked not to make the feature, and then there was two others I'm unsure of that were picked, but also the winners too. We were 0 for 5 on the winners too, where I think Travis was picked, Rob was picked, who else? Schaefer, and then there was one other. Oh, Robinson was picked too, I believe. But yeah,
Now,
no.
to be fair to Trevor, I did everything in my power to miss the feature, and somehow ended up making it anyway.
Kevin was also picked to win and did not.
Yeah, and I picked Greg Wood, who didn't even show up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Perfect.
That's right. He was there for practice, just not for the race.
I might be a little bit late if you're starting at 7. Dinner's gonna be ready at exactly 7.
We're
you know, Kevin, we are recording
live
really.
TV.
You know, this is a live bit, bro, and we're enjoying it.
Amazing.
All right. Well, no introduction for you this week.
Well, I guess I won't be late if you already started.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. Well, next point. Let's talk about going to a dirt track from asphalt and some of the drivers' mentalities, switching from their normal bread and butter to something that some could have considered just fun, a joke, really. Justice, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think all week we tried to preach as admin as much as we could to remember that this is not everybody's like specialty discipline. We're going to something that's completely foreign, and even if it is their discipline, the car is way heavier than anything you drive on dirt. Has quite a bit less horsepower than everything except for the street stocks. I mean, you're not really getting the power down and doing some of those things. So we tried to preach that all week, and you saw some guys kind of attack it like, I'm just out here to try to survive, and if I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. And you saw some people really take the challenge and run with it. I think guys like yourself, Bennett, you kind of put in the work all week. I tried to with you, and that goes back to just things you do to try to get better when you can. I mean, you only have a week to prepare between these things. So when you're going from something that is not something you typically race and trying to jump in it and run well, it can be very tough if you don't have any experience in it. And it showed you, like I said, you had guys just out there like my teammate Wayne trying to run and just stay out of everybody's way. And he was a rolling chicane, I think, most of the night, poor guy. But he did a good job as he could to stay out of the way. And then you had some guys that said, screw it, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run it just as hard as I can. And if that you don't like it, screw you. So I think that the mentality change was there. But we didn't get a whole lot of people like screaming and bitching at each other. That was nice until about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I was gonna say I didn't see any tempers flare. I really thought there was gonna be more. I thought somebody was gonna take it serious, especially with the week leading up. Especially as a couple of the guys in here had gotten into some shouting matches and uh, acting a little different all week. And for me, it was comical on some, and others I was involved in it, so I understand why it happened. But yeah, I was super surprised to not see tempers flare a little bit more. Um, and then kind of just like let's talk about the respect factor and how it kind of plays into how we race and how drivers kind of react, how they race others. Rob, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a tough one because everybody has different a different opinion of where the line is on things like this, and some people are more willing to let things go than others. Some people have longer memories than other people do. I know for a fact that Justice and I probably have longer memories than a lot of the other people here. Um, but as far as the respect factor goes, for me personally, um, I just I just want guys to make an attempt to not wreck me. Like mistakes happen. I don't really get upset about mistakes, even really bad ones. I wasn't around for the podcast last week, but running second and getting wrecked by Alex at the end wasn't exactly a good time. But he immediately apologized, and we talked about it after the race. He was apologetic, didn't mean to do it, and for me, just a simple apology is all I need most of the time to not hold a grudge moving forward. I might joke about it here and there or whatever, but it's all jokes. But a lot of guys take more than they're willing to give. Um, and then those are also the same types of guys that get upset when they're on the bad end of something. And it's the double standard that really drives me crazy, whether I'm involved in the incident or not with some people. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's racing. You'll see it here. You'll see it in every league across iRacing. You'll see it in real life racing. And some people just have their own version of events. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
No,
Yeah, I think that's.
Go
I
ahead.
was say I think that's somewhere where me and Rob agree. Is like if somebody keys up or they come to you after the race, says, "Hey, I feel like I effed up there." That goes a long way in how long my memory is. And we had this discussion about one of Bennett and Nick's teammates from an incident last season that I never got an apology for and was just flat wrecked from 7th place at Pocono. And just felt like, hey, that memory's going to be there. At some point, you pay that back
I
in
love
due
that
time.
Justice remembers it was 7th place.
Yeah, it was 7th. I mean, that
Just to prove
because
the point.
it was
Yeah.
just like one of those things. Why right there? Are you racing that? Like I knew where I was at Pocono. I was not gonna go win the race. I was just trying to finish somewhere back half of the top 10, and just kind of have that stripped from you. But yeah, I really want to hear Nick's opinion on something like this because I think that team, him and Bennett in particular, have kind of changed how that teammate races people and how that teammate reacts to things that happen on the track.
I think actually me and Bennett have talked about this a little bit, and also I've talked about this in admin chat a little bit too. That so the person that we're talking about here is Alex Forget Berube, and last season he was obviously on a team by himself, so he was basically a loner, and he basically just did whatever he could to get the best finish possible. Now his mindset has been switched like that. Like it was insane how much he says it to us all the time in team chat, how much he loves being part of a team, how much he enjoys the camaraderie and the teamwork that's involved with everything like that. And we didn't really tell him much to change, I think it was just him in his mindset, like, hey, listen, like other things more important just myself to worry about, because not only you racing for yourself, you're also racing for your team, because we have team points, and the more that you can help your teammates, the more your team will do better, and yourself too, because there's other things during that race that lead up to that race or practice that you may not know about that track that your teammates can help you out, and just the communication factor and stuff. And we just also really all of us four have clicked. Me, Bennett, Matt Robinson, and Alex. We've just gelled really well together, and Performance Motorsports has really been looking up. And really quick, just to touch on something that you talked about really quick, Justice, the mentality. Not only uh, the mentality of drivers of how you race people, but the mentality of how you get into your own head. And I actually had Bennett in my ear the whole time during the LCQ race, where I myself was getting frustrated because I practiced all week, getting mad at myself for not running correctly, or I'm losing spots because I'm not hitting my marks. And Bennett and Alex are just in my ear talking to me like, "Hey, dude, you can do this. Like, just hit your marks, whatever." It's just that calming feeling of teammates. And I also think that has helped Alex a lot too, just the communication factor of everything.
I think it really started at Daytona, like opening up the season, actually getting into a group where he felt that, like, hey, you've got three other guys right here that we're gonna go to bat for you the whole way around this track. And just like every team, at the end we're gonna go for it. But up to it, like the camaraderie that we've built, I mean, honestly, going into from season 2 to season 3, where he was coming on to performance, I've had a total mindset change about who he is. He's honestly one of the funniest dudes ever. Like, I love it, and he makes me feel good because he laughs at my jokes. So it's a huge thing for me,
So
really.
he's a good
But
liar as well.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, exactly. He's a faker, really. But no, but yeah,
I'll
it's
tell you
it's an awesome.
who's got a valuable opinion here. Speaking of teammates that some people had to wonder about how to respect, and that's Kevin with Travis. Like, Travis has been one of those people that I think has kind of got stuck in the middle for some people.
He had a TED
But
reputation for a little bit,
exactly.
to
A
put
little
it.
bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Put
not
it
not quite to
nicely.
the same degree, but
And that's why I think
Yeah.
Kevin's a good one to talk about that and how that can change. Because same thing goes for Kevin, right? Like, we all admit Kevin's a hard MF to get by. But the one thing you know when you're around Kevin is he's gonna race you hard, and he's not gonna use you up and wreck you, but he's gonna make you burn your shit up just like he's burning his up, and see if you can get by him.
Oh, I mean, I'm the professional at burning my shit up, so I just got to test you guys. I mean,
That's right.
me
Well,
and
going.
I'll give you,
Parker.
Oh, go ahead, Caleb.
yeah, I'll
Or
give a
Ch-
quick shout out. Speaking of hard to pass, while we're on that subject, Mr. Bennett, you have been on my door a couple times this year, and of course, I'm not gonna run you hard or anything. You are hard as shit to pass sometimes, out of
Dude,
nowhere. I'm like, hey Bennett, come on, man.
dude, I love it. I love it. I've been working hard for people like you to stay behind me.
That's awesome,
But
and you always enjoy those battles too.
Oh
In
yeah,
the heat of the
they've
moment,
been
you might not
clean.
like it, but
Yeah, yeah, and I try and stay clean with everybody. I don't want to. If I realize, like, hey, you've got it. I think one of the ones you're referring to was, well, I guess it was last season, but a Phoenix. Um, I know Nick had said something about he was frustrated too. Like, damn it, we can't get around him. And dude, you don't know how hard that made my dick, really. Like, to hear you guys saying that, like,
put
oh, it
the
was so
X
great,
rate
dude.
on
Yep.
YouTube, dude.
Hey, we got the label on there, bud.
Oh my
Uh,
God. On the topic of respect though, do we want to dive in to just how much of that disappeared yesterday on the dirt?
I think
I
it got
probably got
Um,
buried.
99 reasons why.
oh my God.
oh
Before
my.
any of the real admins get into it, Kayla, I want to get your
Yeah.
perspective of what you thought the respect factor was yesterday.
Yep.
so especially with going over to dirt, it's not. I mean, I don't ever hardly run dirt. I'm not bad at it per se, but I just don't really enjoy it, no matter what the car is. So when you get out there, nobody knows each other's tendencies. When we go to these, whatever track it is on that's paved, I see Kevin, I know what he's gonna do. I see Justice, I know what he's gonna do. I know what all you guys are gonna most likely do. Dirt, I have no idea where you're going. So it's kind of one of those learned things during the course of a race where, I'm starting eighth on a restart. Kevin's on my inside. Kevin's been going super low the whole time. Dunford's ahead of me. He's been riding the wall. Burns is a little bit slower on the top side. Rob's going down low. So you have to adjust on that, and it takes some time. So throughout the course of the race, you got people maybe not cutting any brakes, full sending it every turn, and it causes a lot of issues at times. And I feel like people don't change what they're doing based off of other people. They do that one thing the whole time, and you see repeated incidents throughout the whole race. So I wish I could, talk to some guys and say, hey, go back and watch your first 30 laps. What'd you learn there? And then go off of that. I feel like a lot of people don't do that.
It's funny though, cause like how you were saying, like you don't know how other guys are gonna drive, especially because on dirt we've never really done it before. But um that coincides with the respect factor as well of how are you going to race on dirt with those all those guys, and you can tell who has respect for each other because guys would be quick to mic up like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, and then you can see someone hit someone and they don't mic up. You know where the respect factor is for those drivers in those instances when they mic up and say something.
Yeah, if you watch that replay, when I hit Caleb, I don't even think I was out of the corner yet, and I was already on the mic. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Like, I don't want
God,
to hit anybody."
I didn't even make contact with Nick and keyed up and was like, Nick, I think I got too high and ran you in the wall. Like, I apologize. But in my opinion, we didn't see much of that. I think drivers that respect each other, it showed like with Rob and I, me and Nick, Bennett was around. It's just guys, Caleb, when I was around Caleb, you tried not to lean on each other if you could. Like, you were trying everything possible. We all accepted, hey, there's going to be some mistakes. We're on dirt. But you saw some guys that said, I don't care. I'm going to send you here. I'm not learning a damn thing. 8 or 12 or 16, however many tires are above me, are going to stop better than just my 4. And we watched it repeatedly with one singular vehicle. I think hit everything in the LCQ, hit all the cars in the parking lot, all the haulers in the infield, 3 of the pace cars. I mean, he hit everything.
We had to
Oh, he
swap
did.
pace cars halfway through the LCQ, boys.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I mean, I
Not
I
too
just want to
far from the
say,
truth.
I think that what Dirt Bristol brought out of people was kind of like an exaggeration of the extremes. So your guys who are normally cautious, or maybe cautious is not a good word, but more courteous, or your guys who try not to run into each other, willing to give up some speed to just be clean, were extra conservative last night, and maybe that was costing them some lap time. And then your guys who have a chip on their shoulder or something to prove, don't mind doing whatever it takes in order to do that, were even more so because they kind of have this this built-in excuse that it's dirt racing. It's
dirt.
not normally what we do. Whoops, whatever. So I think that more so than it changing what people did, it just kind of exaggerated it in both directions.
So on
Winning
mentality,
for sure. Anyway, go ahead.
so on mentality, I guess Kevin, being in this league, I think we've only ever ran dirt one other time, right? And that was in the
last
trucks.
season.
Yeah. So
We did?
for you, yeah,
don't
for
even
you
remember
coming
this.
out of that race, winning that one, what was kind of your mentality going into this race in the Cup cars?
Just an expectation for trying to prove that it's not just a fluke in the trucks, and I think I did that. I may not have gotten a win, just missed the top 5. I finished Nick's favorite position as 6th, but that was my main thing because it really doesn't translate too well. From the dirt cars, sometimes I race the sprint cars on the dirt tracks, and that doesn't translate at all to the Cup cars, and even with the trucks, they don't translate at all to these big, heavy stock cars. And especially with the way the setup was at this race, after running practice and figuring out what was going on, I just wanted to finish well and prove that I could drive. So I think I did that. Would have liked to win. I definitely tried for it, but just didn't have it. I just flat out was not the fastest guy out there.
Well, speaking of winning, let's talk about, because I know that I got a lot of support from the league when I won at Richmond, and I think it's it's a fair comparison, if not even more earned. And I will say it's more earned for our winner who actually won this week to finally get the dub and finally pull one out, Mr. Grant
Well,
Thorpe.
that's for sure. It's been a long time coming for him. It's long
I think
overdue.
Grant's probably not, if not the most, probably up there top 3 most respected guys and likable guys in the league too. So to see him finally crack one in here, because he's been close a few times, it was really nice to see him crack one out here in Bristol Dirt and clinch his way into the playoffs.
He's been
I
so close. I mean, he's had so many opportunities where he's just like one thing goes right, or the caution comes out at the right time, or when he has raw pace, the caution doesn't come out at the wrong time, away from winning a race. It's not unexpected to see him up there and win. He's had that opportunity a few times, and finally everything just lined up for him, so that he could get the finish he deserved, which was really cool. I had told him before one of the final restarts, it's like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get past you, but I just want you to know I'm not gonna wreck you, and if I can't win it, I really hope you do. So I'm glad Caleb could get second after I ran into him too. But yeah, super
Thank you,
glad
Rob.
that Grant was able to pull that one off, because I was gonna be devastated if somehow he didn't end up winning that thing after leading the whole last 40 laps of it.
He's a little
I
down
think
the excitement. I was expecting him to throw a party out there, Grant. He's so calm at all times.
all the time.
he's
All the
so
time.
calm. He's like that all the time, and I happened to be in the booth because I was watching the 100 lap feature. And Patrick and Stella decided to bring me in there. After they brought me and Rob in Heat 2. I don't know who told them that was a good idea.
It was their
Um,
idea, okay? They
yeah.
invited me, and then they said, Patrick says, where's Justice? Let's
Yeah.
get Justice in here. And it was.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
if it
was
was a great
comedy.
idea or a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah, for anybody that hasn't watched that, that's the must-watch television. But yeah, I was in there for the last 50-ish laps of the feature, kind of chilling with them, and it was cool to see Grant. I mean, that dude deserves every bit of that. And honestly, yeah, like they say, the first one's the hardest to get. Who knows how many he could win now? Because he's had the pace at quite a few places.
Yeah,
I can see him going on a streak too. You got the win in the bag, drive a little more aggressive. I can see him coming through the next couple races and being more of a factor in the front. And I'm excited for a little competition. I love that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that he's locked into the playoffs, he can take a little bit more risk and take a little more chances. We all know him. He's great with strategy. He's great with fuel calls. Now he's got that freedom to really gamble with those strategies, because if it doesn't work, he's already locked in the playoffs. He's good. He doesn't have anything to lose. So I think we're going to see him really shake things up here now that he's got that freedom to just take those big risks.
Especially, I think we were talking about the tracks that are coming up after we go to Talladega are going to be some tracks that you're going to need to know how to drive. It's not going to be, stay in the draft or, sling your ass end around a dirt track, right? So I could definitely see him going on a streak, because he definitely, if there's one thing he can do, he can drive. Caleb, one thing I wanted to ask you earlier, kind of your mentality, of just what Bristol was, I guess, or more of a recap, I guess, of like, what did you kind of see at Bristol? Did you like it? You think it was going to be worse? You think it was going to be better? I know a couple people in the broadcast basically said like, oh man, this went pretty good for the most part, even though we had 12 cautions in the feature or something. So what were kind of your thoughts on that?
So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but my experience running anything on Bristol Dirt, no matter what, as long as it's one of the 3 main series cars, either the trucks, the cup cars, I don't think I've ever gone more than 4 green flag laps at a time. So by that definition, it was a success as far as racing goes. We got at least a little bit of it. There's a lot of entertainment. Me and Jeff in our team chat probably had the time of our lives watching the LCQ and the other heat. I mean, if we had an alternate broadcast, we'd probably be canceled. But we had a time. We were going back and forth. I think Justice got spun at one point. I'm like, here, Jeff, you go watch Justice. I'm going to
point?
watch Kynan.
Yeah, 1
Justice
point. Oh
got
my
spawned at
god.
12 points, I
lie.
think.
Yeah, holy
But-
cow.
But I'll say we were locked in on the point of view of one particular car. And then after Justice, the last one, I was like, oh, he's coming. He's coming. It's going to be good. So I got a lot of entertainment in that regard.
I'd say that was at the end of the LCQ, and you watched me make up most of a straightaway on that one car.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, he's going to do it. He's going to. Oh, he didn't do it.
I was asking
if I
Caleb
could have
for
got
updates.
there, I was certainly going to repay the favor that he paid to about 19 drivers last night.
And I guess with the mentality of that, the track changes. I don't know when the track's changing. I just drive it and go off a feel. But that's a big adjustment period. A lot of guys having to deal with that. You know, one corner you're found some speed, and the next you're in the wall because you overshot it. But as far as the race goes, it's one of those ones where you can't ever give up because anything can happen. You get one guy lose it. So especially with Rob going into the last chance qualifier, he's starting 9th, and I'm not gonna make the feature. Out and over there. I'm like, hey, did you not watch that last heat? You gotta beat. There's 5 guys. You gotta beat one of them. Go get it. So, anything can happen. It's definitely a lot different, and I'm fine with it for one season. And I feel like for this league, if we ran it, let's just say 3 times a season. Not that I want to, so let's keep that out of my mouth. But I feel like if we did, we'd get pretty good at what we do there.
Well, you don't want to mix in some other dirt tracks like
Be
Eldora?
quiet, Kevin. Be quiet.
We're going to Knoxville in 3 weeks. What are you talking about, Caleb?
Speak for yourself.
And you talk about you and Jeff would have got canceled. Patrick and Stella are lucky that me and Rob didn't get them canceled, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were a couple of close calls. I had to remind myself we were live.
Yeah. Well, especially after I told Bennett the funniest part of that was probably when Patrick went to that camera angle trying to show Blake and them wrecking. And the camera angle was from like outside of the stadium, and you were just looking through like the top right. He goes, "Whoever thought that was a good camera angle needs to be shot." And I was like, "Damn, golly, Patrick!" I was surprised that me and Rob didn't just carry that on. Rob did like a real professional take for the next 2 minutes, which was great because I had to mute my mic. I was laughing so hard at Patrick.
He's subtly funny, and it just
Yeah.
hits you out of nowhere.
He's
It hits
very
you out of
funny.
nowhere.
He needs to be a guest on here. I don't know.
100%.
We are.
Oh,
we have already reached
Stella
out.
as well.
We've already reached out, and he has confirmed he will be on here one day.
All right.
What day?
Hey,
Stella's
next week's off week.
Wide open.
Might be a
yeah.
good time to bring our broadcaster in.
I mean, yeah, maybe we
find out.
record this on Wednesday instead of Thursday.
It's possible.
Stella's
there
a
we go.
great one to have around too, and I'll tell you what, Stella does all of her research. Like people say what they want and give her flack, but she does a lot of research and she knows her shit about the track, the car. Like she asks good questions.
History
too,
of the sport, everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we got super lucky with the broadcasters we have. Does anybody have any final thoughts for Bristol before we let this dirt track roll over and die until hopefully next season?
Yep,
I
I'm
do-
glad we're not
trash
going
can.
back.
I
Oh,
do
thank
want to
God.
talk about the way the heats got split up.
Yeah.
Oh my
How
God!
thankful
Heat
I
one
was.
Heat 2 looked just like Larson's Heat IRL, like where it was
Yeah.
just Larson and a bunch of just slow cars. Like,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Damn.
I know, I'm just saying, like,
Thank you so much.
You
League
look
under
at
the
who was in
bus.
Heat 2, it was like Grant, Bennett, and then everybody else. Like, there was
Everybody,
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Wow, dude.
With Heat
Damn.
1, it was definitely just going to be, there were going to be some people that deserved to be in a race that were going home because of it. You know, that's what
you
the
were going to
LCQ is there for, but,
Yeah.
you know, we saw one very particular prominent person get completely screwed by it, so.
Yeah.
Which one?
Hey, I mean, you guys all qualified there. You know
Okay,
what I
maybe
mean?
multiple.
It was all
Too much
your
happened.
all's fault.
I forgot half of what happened last night already.
I couldn't believe that Schaefer completely whiffed. If we're going to talk about something, I mean, when he got lapped in 11th, I told the broadcast like, well, that locks him into the LCQ. Then he got in the LCQ and was around. I think he was backwards more than he was forward, which was wild to me. But that's probably
it's a
my
shame.
shock of the night.
It's a shame I wasn't there last week for when we were making predictions because everyone was talking about the dirt guys. And while I was watching the podcast, all I could think of was, I don't think the dirt guys are going to be worth a shit next week. I don't know why they would be. They don't drive these cars on dirt. We're all going in blind. I think it's going to be the normal suspects up front. The same guys that are, quick every week. But I mean, some guys definitely showed that dirt, their dirt background helped them out a little bit. I'd say, running a little bit higher up than they have maybe other weeks. But yeah, I was surprised that everyone was so convinced the dirt guys were going to be so good. Kind of IRL's got the same thing going on. It's always, oh, here comes this dirt guy, and he runs, 31st, and you never hear of him.
Or Larson wrecks himself out of
oh my
2 of
God.
the 3.
There you go.
Compare to Larson, because we've seen him in Cup. It's just not what anyone expected, especially after that, killer season where he won a championship. Ever since then, it's just been, he feels more like a field filler half the time, and I don't understand what led to his success in that first season other than just whatever car they gave him. But
cheated up cars.
I was about to say, Gen
of course. Well,
super cheated up. It was
super
the last
cheated up
season of
cars,
Gen
yes
6,
and
and
no.
they were just throwing whatever they had at it.
But as far as the dirt track goes, I think a lot of people expect the dirt drivers to do good, not because they're good with the car on dirt, but because we're all kind of on a level playing field when it comes to the car on dirt. We all have experience in this car on asphalt, but the dirt, going there once a year, no one has a clue. So the dirt guys, while they may not have any advantage in the car, they're better at knowing what the hell the track is doing. They're used to seeing the track groove in and slick up and know where the bumps are going to be and how the cushion's going to build up, which last night, that cushion was atrocious. I've never seen a cushion that was almost as high as the fender on a car.
It was as tall as the wall.
Yeah, it was up over the wall.
We saw Logan, he got up into the wall at one point, and he wasn't in the wall, he was in the fence.
The
cushion was so built up, it was lifting wheels off the ground, you couldn't use it. So you had all the cars, especially once the track slicked up, normally you'd see people running up in the cushion, but the majority of the pack wasn't doing that because it was just lifting wheels off the ground. You'd spin. So you see them, they're running on a slick part of the track, and that really shook things up a bit. You saw Travis Gilbert, and he was up there leading the race, and he got into turn 3, hit that bump on the outside, and well, you saw how it went. He went down into the inside pit wall, and that pretty much ended his night. It was
his bumper was on the raceway.
It was on
it was on there for a while.
Yeah,
but he's got a dirt background. He knows the track, and it showed. He was running it great. If he would have stayed out there and didn't make that mistake, I don't think it was going to be easy to get around him for anyone.
The biggest thing about the dirt guys lose their advantage after lap 40 because there's not a dirt race in the country. It's a feature that's longer than 50, 60 laps. So that's anything after like lap 40, it's slicked in more than they're used to, and everybody's on the same playing field at that point.
Yeah, to be fair, the track didn't feel like it changed much after about lap 40. It's like we got there, and it was what we got. People were trying different things. It was just awful. It was just awful, honestly.
I'll say one person that was super close to not having really anybody have anything for him was Logan. Logan, even though some of the things he was doing, up in the wall, things like that, the minor mistakes, that kid had speed, dude, and it was wild. Like,
I take it from Caleb's reaction. He has something to say about that wall.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of odd how, I'd run the same line as him in corner entry, and we'd run the same lap time, and then we'd run the same corner entry, and all of a sudden he was in the fence a little bit, and he had half a second. That was a little odd. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, when you're running almost out to the wall, and then suddenly he's on your outside because he's in the wall and passing you, it's a little bit weird. But that's been a thing with Bristol on the service for a while. We've known that wall can be used to manipulate your speed.
It's a turbo.
I sure as hell wasn't trying it, because the way I drive, it would have ended up with me upside down. So, I sure as hell wasn't getting up in there, but I give him points for sending it in there and making it work. I still don't like it, but I know I couldn't have done it if I fucking tried, so points to that.
I'll say in practice, I accidentally did it around 3 and 4, and I ran at 18.7, so there's a little advantage to be done there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be bothered as much if he did it, once or twice. I still can't say he definitely did it intentionally, but when I've seen it probably over the course of that 100-lap race, at least 40 times, it kind of makes me lean towards the fact that that was kind of his play all along.
Could have been. Could have been. I mean,
Could have been.
it was
It's
there.
impossible to tell.
Yep.
But
Well,
To
that's the
wrap
thing,
and
right? I mean, we went and reviewed that and a few other things post race, as we always do as an admin team, and there were definitely a couple of occasions where some wall contact helped them out a bit. There was nothing that rose to the level of being penalizable or anything like that. So I think it's definitely worth a conversation because I think he got more out of the wall last night than anybody else did. But at the end of the day, it was reviewed and came back with a determination of no penalty. But definitely something we'll be paying close attention to. God forbid we ever go back to a dirt racetrack again.
yeah, good thing is we get to literally wrap this dirt session up and throw it out of the window. And then Bennett gets to lead us into talk about the one racetrack that he is almost always guaranteed to have a shot at. I mean, what do you like, the season 1 defending all-time Talladega
those
champion?
All right, easy. It wasn't
Hey,
that
I'll be
long.
back in a few.
It was just the season 1 Talladega winner. That was it. I was defending for a while.
You can say Talladega champion. You deserve
Yeah.
that
Champion.
title at the
Okay.
time. Champion's a better word.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll take
come
champion.
on, two-time.
I'll take
Two-time.
champion. That is a good point. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. As long as I go into these super speedways not being in 5th place on the last lap, I'm telling you, I'm as good as anybody. I feel like personally, for me to be able to make a move, put myself in a spot to be there at the finish line. But what I've seen is if you're in that 5th place, dude, it's the first car to get taken out. Somebody's going to wreck up front. They're going to get racy. And I've had it happen to me twice. I've just out of the wall, come down. Now I'm out of the race, and it's over. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm a big fan of Talladega. I like super speedways. I like everything that comes with it. And yeah, like I said, I like to think I have a pretty good chance of putting myself in a spot to win. Maybe be able to call myself the 3-time at some point, and then slowly make a run towards that 15-time or 14-time, whatever we've got sitting in the bottom right here.
I believe it's 13, and he's like stuck on that number. That's
You
like
sure?
the unlucky
I think
number. Might be 14.
I lost track.
14.
Many
she got it
wins
updated.
ago. Yeah.
Many. Here it is.
Jesus.
You know what they say?
I
You never
don't
know
know.
when it's going to be your last. So
You
slow
never
down.
know when it could be your last.
That's true. Ever since
Alright.
that Daytona wreck at the beginning of the season and the concussion I had from that, it just hasn't been the same.
Same
Well,
concussion
we're
right here.
Racing our
Same
third,
concussion.
Fifth place.
third super speedway in 7 races, boys. I don't know. I'm beginning to think that we're just like C2C on Tuesday nights.
Well, we're just like real life NASCAR, where the whole first quarter of the schedule is just a bunch of stupid bullshit, and then we get to the real races in the middle. Then there's a little bit more stupid bullshit near the end of the regular season, and then you have real races for the last 10. So we'll see what
Luckily, we don't do the utmost stupid bullshit and run Indy Road Course. Thank God.
Yeah, I'd rather run Dirt Bristol again, if we're being honest.
Caleb, what's your look on Dega?
So if you go off the first 2 races, the restrictor plates, into stage 1, Daytona, I was first, Rob was second. End of Atlanta, I was second, Rob was first. So yeah, the first half of the race has been great. Don't ask me about the second half. So if I can avoid that, like, I don't know, 25 to go wreck, maybe I'll have a shot. But so far, it's been right in front of me or been me. So it's survive and advance.
The Element X Racing team has dominated up to the stage so far at the restrictor plates this season. You get to the end of the race, and that's everything all falls apart. But
Nick, how you feeling about it?
I'm always excited to go to the super speedway. I love
no,
to
you're
see.
not. You know I'm gonna end up wrecking you. You
Yeah.
know
He
I'm
yells at
gonna
us
be.
in team chat.
Yeah.
I bet he does.
Alright,
I
so
know he does, actually.
I've had some bad luck the previous 4 or 5 super speedways. But no, other than personal grievance against super speedways, I'm excited always to go to see the strategy between teams, the different winners that we may get. You know, it might be a Mickey Mouse winner, but it's always exciting to see some guy that will never have a shot, that you would think never have a shot at a regular uh, racetrack at a super speedway. That's thrown out the window. Everyone has a shot at it, and I think that's like the one of the most exciting things to go into super speedways.
Nick definitely has a chance to finish better than sixth too, which is a big plus.
For sure.
Well,
You get to see teamwork. You get to actually see the teams work as a team at the super speedways more than you'll see anywhere else other than like a Darlington cutoff race, I think.
yeah, we saw that big time last season, didn't we?
Yeah.
Still remind Burns of it every now and then. It's like, hey, Jeremy, remember that time when
Oh, he loves it. He thinks it's hilarious. Yeah, bring it up.
Oh man, we even had to take shots at the shifter last night. We were in Heat 2 broadcast booth.
Oh Jesus. Well, so Caleb, we do. I'm sure by watching the podcast at the end, we do predict a winner. Since you're our special guest this week, we'll let you go first. You can't pick yourself,
oh
and then
my god.
of course the rest of us know we can't pick who he picks. So who
So,
you got?
Oh,
Of
I'm gonna
course, when I'm
throw.
the yeah, go
I'm gonna
ahead.
throw a twist to you, Caleb. I want you to also pick who starts the big one.
Oh, you just threw me the easiest layup of my life. Oh
Can
baby.
we pick the same person, or do we have to
Oh,
pick
no,
different
no,
I think
no.
we
people?
can. I think we can all
Everybody's
five
gotta
pick that
pick a
person.
So
different
I was
one.
really upset that I had to pick first at Talladega, of all places. It's a crapshoot. But then the light bulb came on, and I remembered that we raced with a young man named Trevor Earhart. So, who's going to cause the big one, and who's going to win the race? Trevor for both.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there.
Oh man.
Oh,
That's a
that's
great
great.
pick.
Love you,
This is
Trevor.
a wonderful pick. All right, Rob, who you got?
Winner. I feel like my choice has been cheapened due to the focus being put on this already, but I planned an hour ago to pick Michael Bennett to win at Talladega, riding a hot streak, won at Richmond, won the second heat last night at Dirt Bristol. Always super quick. Also part of the Roar umbrella, if you will. So he'll be working with with my team on strategy. So we always kick the shit out of everybody else on strategy at these places. So I know he'll be up front, and I owe him one. So at the end of the race, if I have a choice, I'm probably hitting him in the ass. So I got to take Michael Bennett. As far as causing the big one goes, I'm gonna give an upset pick and pick, Matthew Robinson for the big one.
Oh.
Oh, does that have anything to do with last season? No.
or like 3 times last night,
Flavor.
or any. I don't know.
Oh man.
Oh, there it is.
Matthew's a great guy. I'm sure he'll take it in stride. But yeah, I can feel it in my bones now. So I'll take the number 1 car.
Can I offer a little bit of advice?
Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty simple. Don't push the pusher, please, and thank you,
Oh man.
please.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
I wish I wish that would stick. I wish people would hear that. They won't.
Oh, they'll hear it. They just
yeah.
don't care. Yeah.
Speaking of
okay.
somebody who likes to push, Justice, who you got?
Oh man. Well, I can't push you out of gas.
We saw
since-
that.
Yeah, since Rob already chose that he's going to be the one to do that. I will take an extreme upset winner. Somebody who it's going to take a lot to get him there, but I think it's possible, and that's my teammate Jacob Sergovich. Try to make an effort, get him to the front. As far as who's going to cause the big one, damn, it's a shame we can't pick ourselves here because it'll probably be me. I am gonna pick. Yeah, I see you looking. I'm gonna pick Nick.
Nick. All right. Surprise pick. Doesn't cause
Such
much
a-
trouble, but going to cause the big one.
Such a clean racer.
All right, Nick, what do you have?
So for my winner, so he actually had a shot to win at Daytona. He actually already has a win this season. It was stripped from him at Super Speedway. I'm actually going to go with Kevin Orlando Jr. to go back to back in Super Speedway so far this year. Hopefully this one will count. I don't know. Hopefully it does so he can lock himself in. As for someone to cause the big one, I did have someone in mind, but then I figured, you know what? This type of person, he's really team oriented. He's going to do everything and everything to help his team and the teams that he works with. That also means blocking people. So I think the big one's going to be caused by Mr. Rob Rader.
Whoa.
There it
First of
is.
all, I
God.
cause wrecks by pushing, not by blocking. Thank you very much. So when I cause the big one, it'll be because I'm trying to probably push you. So
As long as I'm not in it, that's fine.
oh, you'll be in it. You'll be in
Everyone
it.
will
Make
be
sure
in it.
you're in
You'll
it.
be in
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you'll be in it.
So I'm actually going to take one of somebody that's already been mentioned by Mr. Raider down there, but because of his experience in C2C, where they do a lot of super speedways, if not all, right? And also because every single time I think in all these super speedways we've ran, he's gotten himself to the front, and also I feel like Nick, myself, and Berube can help him get there. But I'm going to pick the number one car, Matthew Robinson, and hopefully try and get him to really start pushing towards that Rookie of the Year title. I know Nick and I have talked about that. We're going to try everything to get him there, and a win at the Super Speedway would definitely help that case. As far as who's going to cause the big one, I hate that Caleb took everybody's answer. Really.
I thought his layup one was going to be someone's totally different.
I was
If
about
I
to
was
say,
gonna be
I
honest.
think me, Rob, and Nick were on a different page.
Yeah, I think
than
so.
you
I
and
was on
Caleb.
the
I mean-
exact same page.
But then
I
the
was.
second he said it, I was like, I can't believe I forgot about
I mean, I
Trevor.
get it, but not what we thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with and I'm gonna go with the number 12 car. I think the number 12. I'll pick you if you won't pick yourself.
Yeah.
You race super hard, and I know that it's never intentional, but I know that when you get down there, you get that chance to win. Whatever. It's gonna be. It could be you.
It's probably going to happen when he hangs his teammate out to dry on the white flag lap into turn one. If I had to guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, I know you missed it, but so we're gonna throw you to the wolves here, and we're gonna make you. We're not gonna tell you who we pick so far. So you're picking a winner, and you're picking
All right.
someone that
A
is gonna
winner
cause the
and
big
a
one.
wrecker.
Yes.
Yeah,
A winner
and
and a wrecker.
We'll let you
Well,
know
Nick will
if you
hit the
pick- if you-
buzzer
yeah.
like Family Feud if you
all right.
guess somebody that's already guessed.
Well, for the winner, just based off of the last super speedways we've been to, I'm gonna have to pick Tay McDonald.
Great
He
pick.
has been up there late in the race every time we've been to a super speedway. He just hasn't done it. You
Well,
know?
I mean, you could say he has,
Technically.
I guess,
Technically,
Yeah, I mean, he's got the playoff points to say he's done it.
Yeah, all right. But I think he's a good contender for any super speedway. He's proven that he knows what it takes to get up front at the right time. So I think getting it, he'll be happy to get it legitly too, and not in the last way. And as far as causing a wreck, well,
Kevin. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Your number one is
yeah, that one's taken. Yeah.
just say it
You
anyway.
can say it anyway.
It's fine.
I was gonna blame Berube.
Oh, that one wasn't taken.
Not picked.
That one wasn't
no one
taken.
took Berube.
No one took Berube.
No,
Nope.
took him.
He's got speed, but he's got aggression. I've seen him at the super speedways to put it 3 and 4 wide at the wrong time. I see it happening again, especially late in the race. If he's within sniffing distance of the win, He's gonna be going for it, and I don't blame
Can
him
I
because that's great. I love how aggressive he is.
can I change
But
my pick to Ted? I mean,
if
he's
Ted
not
was
gonna
gonna
be
be
there.
there,
Nice.
Rest in peace.
Is he gonna be back by then? Off his sabbatical?
he
I
might
don't
come
know.
back the day before. If he comes back, we're guaranteed a wreck from him. But
Oh man.
You know, I thought about picking Berube for the big one, but I figured between Richmond and last night, he probably wrecked all the cars, and so I didn't expect him to have one ready for Talladega in 2 weeks.
I think part of the issue is the fact that he's wrecked all the cars, and no one's gonna be giving him an inch of space come Talladega.
Just kidding, Alex. Don't
3 people will
don't
be
do it
giving
to
him
me
an inch of
again.
space.
Hey,
Love you,
I can
uh,
Alex.
promise
Do
you
it to him
that.
again.
yeah.
Y'all got memories, man. Berube got me in the
Memories.
beginning of the heat, and like,
Memories. I got a list down here.
I
Hold
was
on.
about to say,
Back in
I
94.
have a note in my phone, Caleb, of who is still due.
damn,
I got
damn. That's it. That's some
Nice.
extremes.
That just goes right back to Rob's point.
Yeah, my list is just the people in this group here.
But
You
you know
know.
what's
Oh,
funny?
did you get me back last night? Is that
Okay.
what that was?
What's
Oh no, that
Oh.
was just dirt happening.
Oh, okay.
But no,
what's
I
so
guess I'm
funny
still
about
waiting.
my list? What's funny about my list though is like Kevin has said this before because Kevin and I have probably ended up on each other's lists more than once. But for Kevin and I, we know like it resets. So like we may race each other shitty today, and then next week it's fine. Like, and with some drivers it's like that. But at the same time, I think Kevin and I have talked enough and are willing to talk through it. Again, I'm on the page like Rob said earlier in the episode of let's talk it through. If we talk it through and agree to disagree, at least we've talked through it, and the list is kind of not there. But for people that don't want to apologize or don't want to ever take fault, yeah, well, guess what? You're on the list.
And speaking of justice and lists, I'm pretty sure he's been on the list of every last person in this league at some point or another.
Agreed.
He was on my list
So-
as a teammate, really, back in
Yeah.
Iowa.
Fair.
That was in Iowa. Shoot that down. Justice is not on my list.
Yeah.
Shoot it down. There
Well,
you go.
Not yet.
I
Not
also
yet.
Not
have
yet,
done
not
a
yet,
lot.
yeah.
Give it time.
I did a lot of soul searching and kind of talking to people that I knew I was on their list. There's one that heck all of last season continued to watch the races and get on YouTube and comment every week about hoping I would wreck.
I was hoping he would come back just so I
Me
could
too.
see it.
Yeah, he would
If
be
you're
back on the
watching
list because I certainly didn't. The incident that he held a grudge over was his own fault. Then he decided to spin me intentionally at Atlanta last season. So yeah, he can come back, but he's probably not gonna like what's coming if he comes back.
Hey, you know what? If he does come back in the next 2 weeks, can I change my pick for who's going to cause the big one?
Yeah, it would certainly be him.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Great guy, though. Great guy.
Yeah.
Let's not forget we do have a few drivers in the field that have not shown themselves at a super speedway really yet. There's a couple new drivers this year, and apart from, they've come in throughout the beginning of the season. I think there's a few that we haven't really seen at the super speedway, so there could be some
Can't
wild
pick the
cards in
2
there.
car yet. You can't pick him yet, Kevin.
I already
come
picked
on.
my wrecking guy. I
I
already picked my wrecking guy.
Golly,
just saying.
I was giving him more credit.
Just
than
right
that,
underneath the
Kevin.
bus.
Bro,
Oh.
it's not where I was going with that, but there's some question marks still in the field. People that aren't used to running around these guys, that no one really knows what's going to happen at a super speedway. So, could definitely bring a spin on things.
Yeah, that goes
Definitely.
back to my point earlier. Like, you got to learn tendencies. So I wish everybody in that race keeps in mind in the opening laps, observe them, and watch what they do before we kill everyone.
Oh, it's not winning on turn 1?
No,
No?
I mean,
I
well,
thought the pay window opened when the green
Yeah,
flag dropped.
yeah.
don't
The
turn
pay
this
window
into a
closes
go
as
3
soon
wide
as
until
Rob
lap
pulls out on
5.
the track. Let's not forget that Loveland is back.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he's good at super speedways, but he's too cautious, in my opinion, at those tracks.
It's
Is
been a
it
while.
is it too early
Yeah.
to take my pick to win at Dover?
Yep.
Because
Mine is not Loveland, and
first
Loveland's gonna be
choice
good.
is James Loveland,
Oh,
number
no,
one
there's
overall draft pick.
my first choice would be a teammate of the two guys at a
He's
corner in
also a
my
foreigner.
box.
I think
Yeah.
everyone's boxes are in different places for everyone
Yeah.
else.
Let me just say this, as far as who I would pick first.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell
He
yeah.
was good last time.
I think it's gonna depend on tempers, because if
It's gonna
with
call me
how
out like
people
that.
yeah, if Rob's still
Uh,
that pissed at him, he's not gonna finish Dover.
I do think that is something that we can table until after Talladega.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah, off week next week. I think the plan's to still do something. Correct, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. For the podcast wise, really good point. I'm gonna see if Patrick can come on here and hopefully Stella too, and we can have a good little like hour, 10 minute like talking with them, how they work coincide with us, how great the relationship's been, and it'd be great for our listeners to understand what actually goes into a broadcast and what him and Stella have to go through every Wednesday night.
Dude, I would love to know exactly what he's doing. Like
Oh,
while
man.
everything's going on, the camera angles, the everything. I want that'd be so interesting.
I can tell you, being in the booth last night, it even just having to listen to him juggle it all, that's incredible.
It's a lot. It's definitely a
Yeah.
lot, which is why I was so impressed over at Coda when Stella was doing it solo, because it is a lot for two people to do. So bringing it down to one person, she did a killer job on that.
And at a road course, which is just hard to commentate anyway. Just because you don't get those breaks, you don't get the restart side by side. I mean, there's a lot of time to fill at a road course, especially one that long. Once people get spread out, it's not
And
easy.
she didn't take the Fox approach of 60 minutes of commercial for every 5 minutes of racing. So I think she did a killer job.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, coming to the checkered here, is there anything else we want to talk about before we go?
Yes.
Okay.
Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Long Beach.
IndyCar. Long
Huh?
Beach special event. Monday night.
Oh, yeah, Caleb, by Long Beach, by the IndyCar. Monday night starts our specialty event calendar on Mondays only. I think it's like maybe 100 laps at Long Beach in the IndyCar.
100 laps.
Is it?
100 laps.
I don't think it's anywhere near that long.
That's a lot, dude.
Oh,
I
is it
think
really
that's
only 45?
But yeah,
45
Oh,
laps.
45.
It's
I thought it was
45
so
laps.
much longer.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
And 45 is
No.
relatively long.
We have shit to
even.
do that day.
Yeah.
Also, I have a quick opinion about all our specialty events, especially for guys, since none of the special events, besides I believe one, aren't going to be in the next gen car that we run, especially for road courses and to encourage drivers to show up. I think we should allow the racing line to be on to encourage more participation.
No.
That was
I'm
immediate.
Racing
I
Doesn't
line?
matter.
don't
Dude,
care.
honestly-
I don't ever use it regardless.
Honestly,
so.
reach out and
Yeah.
see what everybody wants, and let's do that. Cause like we definitely need to fill these Monday night events. These are gonna be fun.
Whatever will get more cars on the
Oh.
track for these cool events, I'm in favor of.
Also,
I'm gonna tell you where we effed up, boys. I pitched this to Bennett. God, we should have run we're running the Indy 500. We should have run that on Saturday, and we could have done a street race at Chicago, then like 70 laps at Indy and 100 laps at Charlotte, all in the same day, just like they're gonna do on that Sunday.
are you insane?
That
I
sounds like a
listen,
disaster, but
It sounded fucky.
Hey, I do want to ask you
All-Star
something
for
as
that,
an
question
opinion.
mark?
I just thought of something. Before we get into that, while we're talking about these special events, one of the events on that calendar is Le Mans.
see,
Should we open up and include the next gen car in Le Mans in celebration of the Garage 56 entry?
If you want to be pissed off the whole time, go right ahead.
yeah, go right after.
I mean, I'm probably going to be
The
pissed off the whole
garage-
time anyway.
The Garage 56 car is totally different than the actual next gen car.
Yeah,
Just
that
'cause
I
it looks like
understand.
it. I mean,
I mean,
Kevin can be the one guy who drives that piece of shit out on that
hey,
amazing
if I'm the only
racetrack.
guy, that means I win, right? I win my class.
Also,
Yeah.
I wanna just throw this out there. This has not been made public yet. Actually, I haven't even brought this to any of you guys' attention yet.
Breaking news.
So, breaking news from Nick Alves. So for all the Monday special events, I am going to put down $20 for every Monday event for the winner to encourage participation.
Oh, money bags,
nice.
baby.
Field
Okay.
one, baby. Let's go.
Yuck.
Breaking
By the
news.
track, Caleb, get some practice in.
I'm not. Nope.
You
Never
ready to
seen
go?
this guys with a park and
That's not
turn
what we
one and
needed.
Just watch it.
Fired. Absolutely fired.
All right.
Never coming back on here ever
All
again.
right.
Thanks.
Everybody,
Thanks for coming.
everybody show up, please. Yeah.
Hey, it's real.
There you
It's
go.
real, actual race cars that are supposed to be at the track, Caleb. Okay, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not some of this.
Not
Take
stock cars
the
on dirt.
world's worst GT3 cars and put them on
No,
some
I'll
track
be
they don't belong.
there. Just be careful when you lap me. That's all I can say.
Fair enough.
That's fine.
You're a
Oh, as
long as
respectable
you're there.
driver. You'll get out of the way.
Actually, Caleb, you don't have North Beach, weren't you in the when we did the Porsche GT3 race there?
Nope.
Oh,
the
that
only
was
one
dumb,
I've done
too.
of these special events.
That was
when
kinda
raced
dumb,
at
but-
Daytona.
I thought he said fun, not dumb.
Oh, same
No, I
difference.
said dumb.
Oh, you said
it
dumb.
Was
Oh,
dumb.
was
okay.
pretty
You said
dumb.
I got punted on the pace lap in like Smoot's first appearance ever. Like, yeah, it
Oh,
was
that's
terrible.
right. Around the last
Yeah,
corner.
it was pretty bad.
Just
Yeah.
spun you. Oh yeah, 18 cars showed out there that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, come join us Monday night. $20 if you can beat us. It's open wheel. You know you love it. You know you love road racing.
Wait, it's only $20 if we can beat who?
No, it's just for
Everybody?
the winner. For the winner.
The
Race.
winner.
Yeah,
Whoever
you gotta
wins.
beat the rest of the field.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, who do I got to
No
beat?
bounty. Yeah.
I think I I've beaten Nick probably.
Speaking of
probably can.
bounties, hey Barney Bennett, you know what time it is.
What time is that to end this thing?
I mean, yeah, it's time for some rotator cuff surgery, as Patrick said last night.
Yeah, no joke. Well, yeah, as we are wrapping this thing up, Caleb, thanks for showing up, man. We appreciate you coming on. It was super fun. Kevin, thanks for being here part time this episode and coming in out of nowhere and really messing with the whole vibe of
You
things.
told me 7 o'clock.
I didn't tell you anything, and if we want to talk about time frames, Nick is not scheduling
Hey,
anything
everybody, good night.
ever
Nick
again.
is never
Ever again.
scheduling. Oh my god.
Let me know if we're going to be here Wednesday or Thursday next week and what time. I'm expecting it from you to tell me.
I don't know who you're pointing
Nick.
at.
He's pointing at Nick.
No, I'm pointing at the one guy who said that Nick is not supposed to do it.
I'll do it.
Michael,
I will.
send me a
I will
message.
do it.
Let me know.
Okay, I got it.
And I'm still going to show up late and come in out of nowhere and interrupt everything. So it's fine.
We're probably
Yeah,
gonna we're gonna lock
Make
the
sure
channel.
you have no idea whether we've already started the podcast when you get here. That would be ideal.
I
Yeah.
mean,
100%.
That'd be the best thing.
Show up.
ideally.
Yeah,
Questions.
I need you to show up, listen to us talk for a minute about something, and then be like, "Hey, you guys started the podcast?"
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyways, that brings us to our checkered flag. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Make sure to catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, fellas. It was an honor.